Welcome to the Trading Bell Show. My name is Maina Chege. Thank you so much for your valued company. Now, today we have one of the youngest star in Africa. I may use that term because he's right here seated with me, and he's one of the youngest founders of the latest technologies that we have, especially in the cryptocurrencies in the world. That is none other than Fejiro Hanu Aboji, founder and CEO of Patricia Technologies Limited. Many thanks for joining us in this interview, Hanu, and it's a pleasure to have you again. This is the second time in Kenya. Last I checked, I know maybe you have visited before, but it's awesome to find you around and for you to really come and grace the Africa Digital Summit. And you're one of the tech leaders around, especially in Nigeria, and you founded Patricia. And a lot of people would be like, oh, who is Patricia? And those kind of things. And it would be nice to hear the journey and even why the name Patricia. Yeah.
Well, it was a very interesting time for me because when I stumbled on the idea Patricia, I was sometime in 2015. And I actually got ripped off online trying to sell digital currencies. And I figured if I got ripped off, somebody somewhere will probably get ripped off too. You know, and prior to that time, I'd always been an entrepreneur. From when I was 8 years old, I was selling candies in school, doing all sorts of things. You know, my mom was my earliest investor. Very interesting story. One time, so growing up, we lived in front of a church.
Yeah.
And it was a very big church, like 20,000 capacity.
Wow.
You know, and every Sunday we go to church. Wednesdays we go to church, and I see all the kids in church queue up to buy candy.
Yeah.
Myself, I'm on that queue too. Right, I save all my money from school and then I go and buy candy. You know, and this was not just your regular candy. It was like M&Ms, Mars, Skittles, and this was way back in 2003, 2004, right? So it was not common to see that this type of candy anywhere. So, you know, it just struck me that if I queue up to buy these candies, the kids in my school who buy these candies if somebody sells it to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I go to my mom and I'm like, Mom, sit down, let me tell you something. I have this idea that's going to work. Right? So we'll make money, we'll do this. I want to borrow 400 naira. That's like $1.
Okay.
And that was in 2003. That was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right, so she didn't answer me, told me to go and read my book. You know, typical Nigerian parents. Yeah. You know, but like I was so convinced that this was going to work.
How old were you then?
Like 8.
Whoa.
Ish, yeah. So I took a soft loan. Right, I knew where she keeps her money in the house, so I took the loan of 400. Yeah. But interesting thing was she had like new notes. She had mints. You know, so I went to the lady and I was like, okay, madam, I want to buy this candy, but you need to keep this money for me. Yeah. I will come back after 2 days and I will give you some other notes and take this mint back. So my plan was I'll buy the candy, go to school, sell it, use the money I make, give her back and return the money back to my mom before she knew that the money was even missing. Yeah. So I bought the candy, I went to school, super excited, super pumped, trying to sell my candies. You know, but nobody was talking to me. So that was because when I was young, I was this very, very fat kid. You know, and nobody likes to talk to the fat kid. So all my friends were the committee of fat kids. Yeah. So nobody, we just us and our clique, right? So I mustered all the courage I had, and I spoke to the most beautiful girl in school. Yeah. So when I went to her and I said, just from the first hello, she was like, ew, don't talk to me. Don't even come close to me, don't talk to me. I was like, calm down, I have a gift for you. She's like, oh, really? I said, yeah. So I gave her one of the candies, and she loved it. Now we're now friends, we're talking. So I told her, look, I have more candies to give you, right? But on one condition, you would have to share this candy with your friends. Oh. And I'm by the corner. When they ask where you get it from, tell them you got it from me. Yeah. She agreed, and I gave her M&Ms. Wow. M&Ms are like a bunch in the pack. Okay. So she and her friends, they shared it, and it was like, you know, they made a big deal out of it. In less than 2 hours, you had sold. I'd sold out all my candies. It was gone. And it was so amazing because I was able to flip 400 naira to 1,600 naira. That is flipping like $1 to like $4 in 2003. Yeah. Bear in mind, my mom had a store where she sells provisions and all of that, a big store. And I man the store for her some days when she's not around. Yeah. So I know she makes about 200 or 250 naira in profits every day. Yeah. And I just made 1,200 in profits in a few hours.
Yeah.
So I couldn't wait for school to end. I was just waiting for school to end to just run back home.
I didn't tell her.
Yeah. Oh. I didn't even go back to check the woman with the mint.
Oh no.
Cancelled. All of that did not matter anymore.
Yeah.
I ran back to my mom's store, showed her what happened, you know, showed her the money we've made. And she was like, okay, that's wonderful. She took the funny thing. She took the money. The money? She took she took 1,200 from me and gave me back 400.
Go buy again.
Go and buy again. You know, so since then, like, you know, I just kept doing that for like 1-2 months, and I ended up paying my family's house rent for 2 years from just flipping candies in school. Wow. You know, and so from that point on, she became my early investor. Any idea I had, she's giving me money. If I told her I want to build a plane, the question is how much do you need, or what do you need, you know? Yeah. So that was how it all started. Yeah. You know, and from that point, I did a lot of things. It got really serious when I went to the university because I was free for the first time. Wow. Right, I was me. You know, I'm living alone. Nobody is telling me what to do, what not to do. Yeah. You know, so I started doing all sorts. You know, I used my house rent to buy a bike so that I can make extra 1K a day, 2K a day. I bought the bike. After a few months, the guy that I gave the bike to ride ran away with the bike. I went to look for him in his house because he's an indigent of the community. Yeah. So I went to, like, so far away. I found him eventually, and when I found him, this guy and his family beat me up, sent me away. Like, it was terrible.
You're going for your bike.
I did a lot of things. I sold popcorn in school. My popcorn stand became the most popular popcorn in the full university. The lady I employed to handle it for me because I had to still go to school. Yeah. Right. So one day I was driving past, I was going to school in the morning, and I expect to see my popcorn stand operating. Yeah. But I don't see my popcorn stand operating. I see somebody opposite me operating. So this girl had opened her own stand, just directly opposite me, right? And she was selling popcorn. So my customers felt like it was the same thing.
The same person.
Because maybe something just happened, you just changed your stance. Yeah. You know, so like, before Patricia, I had done about 13 businesses. You know, all of them ended up in tears.
Lessons.
Yes, actually. But the good thing with all of this was I was actually failing forward. Okay. You know, I wasn't starting from ground zero every time. Yeah. You know, I was picking up some ways not to do things, you know. And with Patricia, it almost seemed as if I had faced all the troubles that were to come for the first couple of months. So I knew exactly what to do and what to not do. Yeah. You know, so Patricia was the 14th idea. You know, my plan was to make 30,000 naira, $100 a month. Yeah. Right, because I was out of school, fresh out of school, thinking of what to do with my life. Yeah. My dad used to pay me $100 a month. Right, that was like my go-to school money. Yeah. Right, so I was like, if I can make that money myself, I don't need to go back home. I don't need to. Yes, I can just do my own thing. So that was my plan. With Patricia, it was a journey because I didn't know what would happen of it. Yeah. I didn't even know if it was going to be the big thing. I was just trying again, you know. Yeah. So why I named it Patricia was 2015 when I got the idea of what to call this company. I remembered growing up, my mom and my granddad, they used to always fight. Yeah. Always fight. They had this love-hate relationship. I don't know why, but they never really saw eye to eye. But I knew they loved themselves, but they never just saw eye to eye. So my mom's name is Patience. Yeah. But for some reason, my granddad has never called her Patience. Like, from when I was a child, I have never heard him call her Patience. He always calls her Patricia. And it kills her whenever...
Maybe they fought about the name.
I have no idea. So it was just crazy. So there was this particular day, they were fighting heavily. Stop calling me Patricia. My name is Patience. I would not answer you anymore if you call me Patricia. And he's like, I can't hear you. I know you as Patricia. So I just penned it down, you know, number 37, you know, Patricia. Yeah. And so I didn't know that it was going to be the holy grail as it is now. But it was just vibes and, you know, trying one more time.
I'm just curious, what does your mom feel about this now that you call the whole company?
Interesting. It's interesting that you asked the question because, unfortunately, my mom and my dad never got to see Patricia.
Oh.
Yeah, they passed away many years ago.
Okay. Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah.
I'm sure where they are, they're happy.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
That's an interesting way of starting. It's an entrepreneurial journey, really, that started way younger. And so this idea of Patricia comes to you. What was it at first when you were starting? Is it what it is now?
Definitely not. So it was a gift card exchange.
Yeah.
Where you buy and sell gift cards.
Okay.
No, it's not even cryptocurrency. So for the first 1 year, Patricia was a gift card company.
Okay.
Right. But during the course of running Patricia, I realized that the customers started asking for Bitcoin. And I'm like, what is this Bitcoin thing? So every time they are saying Bitcoin. And it pains me whenever they have to leave Patricia and go somewhere else.
Because they can't buy Bitcoin.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I had to dabble into it and,
Get away.
Exactly. And when I found it, I was like, wow, this is super ordinary. This is shiny. This is new. And over the next couple of months, I turned the company around from a gift card company to a crypto company. Then just recently, we took away the gift card company as its own entity. Yeah, okay. And it's now called Glover.
Wow.
Yeah.
Glovo?
Glover.
Oh, okay. There's a Glovo here locally. So
it's also in Nigeria too.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So let me ask you now, so where is Patricia now as we speak? First of all, if you could tell me, I know you're now dealing with cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
What's first of all your staff size?
Well, we have over 100 people in Patricia today.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And geographically, where are you just located in Nigeria?
In Kenya, Ghana, South Africa, and Dubai.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me just remind our viewers that we are talking to Hannah, who is 26. I just wanted to let them know that you're already a global company and stretching this further. So so the future of finance, as we have been speaking in this summit, is really in the cryptos. And there's a lot of conversation that Africa is at the lead. Do you hold that statement as truth?
100%.
Why would you say that the future of finance is in crypto and that Africa is poised to be at the lead?
Well, it's because, first off, our systems here are already fragmented. It's broken.
Yeah.
Like when you look at Europe, look at the EU, they have one central currency. So it automatically means if I'm in Spain and you are in, where now? Barcelona.
Yeah.
Or you are in Greece, right? I can send you money instantly and you receive same value. Right?
Same value.
You receive same value. You like it's one currency. It's one voice. Like sending shillings, Kenyan shillings.
Yeah.
From here to Mombasa.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be the same. It's
Perfect.
Be the same.
So with Africa, we have big issues around cross-border transactions.
Absolutely.
Getting money in and getting money out of the countries in Africa.
A lot in the process.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
But with crypto, that's already solved.
You have a card and people can purchase through Bitcoin via that Patricia card, right?
Yeah.
Just like an ATM card.
Just like an ATM, but it's backed by your crypto assets, yes.
Now that's a game changer. How is the reception?
So when we launched the card, we got 13,000 new sign-ups in 6 hours. So I think that's your answer right there.
13,000 sign-ups in 6 hours. Yeah. People were ready for this revolution.
They were more than ready. So because it just made sense,
Yeah.
Because like you can't really spend crypto, but once you have a card, it begins to become tangible. It becomes a real life asset as opposed to that idea of something you can't see or feel.
So what's the thought behind simplifying this? Because some people, anytime they hear about crypto, some are still cautious. They're still trying to understand this. And then you've managed to break it down so far to even using it just like a card. It's like the way people would just swipe cards. Yeah. I'm interested to know the thought behind that. And how far has this now gone? Of course, day one, 6 hours, you have 13,000. How far have you gone so far as well?
So it's the idea of, what you understand you can manipulate, what you understand you can utilize, what you understand you can improve.
Yeah.
So we want people to understand cryptocurrency for what it is and what it can be. And we encourage them to even go deeper and develop, innovate on it. Yeah. And let's create something magical out of it.
Okay.
Right, that is it. Because our slogan is crypto made easy because it is difficult for a lot of people.
Okay.
Right? It's still a very foreign entity for a lot of people. And it does not always have to be so. We can change the narrative, and we have been changing the narrative. And right now we have built a whole stack of learning tools where you can come online, you can learn about cryptocurrency, learn about Patricia, learn about, we actually made a crypto dictionary where any crypto word or any crypto term, you can actually make sense of it by just jumping on it.
So one of the key challenges that I've had a lot of people speak about cryptocurrencies is government regulations that are there and all those kind of things. But now of late, since the last time we were here, over 50%, about 50% of governments in Africa are beginning to start thinking about digital currencies, not necessarily in the crypto or blockchain.
CBDCs.
Yes, and it's an interesting phenomenon.
Yeah.
Would you say that they have realized that it is important to start thinking about this now, or would you take credit in the fact that you've pushed this narrative and you've seen breakthroughs?
Well, either which way, we don't really care. Pushing narratives, they are seeing it now.
Yeah.
The main goal is let it be done.
Let it be done.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing. So it doesn't matter who did it, right? A win for one is a win for all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we see it.
Okay, let's get to a little bit of motivation because, you know, at 26, achieving all this, someone would think this is like a dream. And there could be many young people who would say, man, I would want to sit down with Fejo for a second and just hear him. But I don't know what you would tell young people who are watching right now, who have these crazy ideas, who may not have, I don't want to use the word permissive because your mom was not permissive at first. You had to take some money somehow. But who may be having and boiling out ideas that they feel, I want to implement this. What's your advice to them?
Well, it's very simple. You know, if you don't try, you'll never know. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's you know, most people, we like to wait for things to be right. We like to wait for the opportunities to avail itself, for everything to connect before we move. You know, there's this saying of I will do this when I get this. I will do that when I get there. You know, and that's why we are still where we are today, right? You don't need to see the full road or the full step to take the first step.
You're right.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I have this idea of go as far as you can see, right? When you get to that point, you will see more.
Yeah.
Right. So keep on going, and even when you fail, right, you don't really fail.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the idea. You don't really fail because you fail forward.
Yeah.
You know, I failed 13 times, and with each time I failed, if I accepted failure, I would have just stopped trying.
Yeah.
You know, so with each failure, I knew, okay, don't work with family members. I knew, okay, get a contract.
Get a contract.
Yeah, I knew this. So it's like, so everything just kind of like is like God's plan. Yeah. Really. You know, like I feel like there is, for personally, I feel like I'm here to do great things.
Great.
Right. And I've known that from when I was a child. Nobody needed to tell me that.
Yeah.
And the difference between me and the next person is that the next person does not say those words and does not believe those words when they say those words. Okay. Right. Yeah. So it's all about self-affirmations, all about trying, all about not giving up. You know, on the flight here to Kenya, I was reading a book, and it was called The Courage of Happiness. Yes, The Courage of Happiness. Wow. And it really struck a chord to me because there was this chapter that was speaking on theology, right? And the concept there was very simple, that human beings, we are not as fragile as we think we are, in terms of we based our present and our future on our past, right? So because we had a bad experience in the past, right? We now live in a bad future and in a bad now. But what the book was trying to say is, just because you have a bad experience doesn't mean you need to have a bad present and a bad past. The reason why you have a bad present, right, is because you accepted that bad experience, right, needs to manifest in your life now. You enter a shell because of the actions or the experiences of the bad experience. But the book advises that at any point in time, we have it in our arms and our power to
break loose,
to break free, and change what we accept, right, and not necessarily feel like the past has to control the future, because the past is not living anymore. The past is dead. It's just memories, right? So in as much as there might be traumatic experience, there might be all sorts, right? But we actually have the power to break loose and not allow the past to control our present and the future. You know, they say the reason why we worry, right, is because we are thinking of the future.
Okay.
Right?
Think of the present.
Depression is thinking of the past. Right?
Yeah.
But when you are living in the present, you are physically here. So you have nothing to worry about or to be depressed about because you've let go of all of these things.
Yeah.
And every single day, you do your absolute best.
You know, there could be very many questions in this interview, and I'm limited with time, but you're speaking powerfully. And one of the things that I saw between 2021 and now, where we are, we had some bearish markets in the Bitcoin, and this is really your core. Of course, I have seen it get back to its levels.
Yeah.
And so there are those moments that hit you hard at times, and you know, for someone who's watching and thinking maybe it's time to get into Bitcoin, what would be your quick advice to him, knowing very well that there will be those moments where everybody will be thinking, am I about to lose my money?
So I think when you want to invest in crypto, this is no advice, by the way, but it's the way I see it is crypto is only going to go forward. Right, you need to understand the dynamics of what it is before you even invest in it. I'll use Bitcoin as a case in point.
Yeah.
There will be only 21 million Bitcoin ever.
It will never.
It will never be more than 21 million. As of right now, more than 16 million already exist.
Yeah.
So in the next few years, it will hit 21 million, and everybody in the full world would have to share 21 million. So we're talking 7-8 billion people on planet Earth having to share
the
21 million Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Only with that mathematics alone, it puts the price of one Bitcoin in millions of dollars.
Absolutely. Already. Yeah.
And that time will come.
Wow.
First of all.
So the earlier you can invest, the better.
So if you understand that basic math, you know when to tap in. Also, when you see that there is a dip in Bitcoin, it's going down, it's killing, everybody's crying. What I see is Black Friday sales. Really. Because if there's one thing I know, is that it will always regain. Absolutely. It will always recoup and come back to where it was before that time. Right? It might take 1 year, it might take 2 days, it might take 2 hours, it might take 1 year, it might take a while. Right? But you have to be patient with it and don't put in all your money that you have to withdraw, because the minute you need to, like, you don't really lose in Bitcoin unless you sell. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So you hold. But the minute you sell, that's when you liquidate. Yeah. And whatever is left is what you get. Yeah. So you might buy at 60K and now it's 30K and you're saying, oh, my money is gone. But your money is not really gone because you still have the same crypto value. Absolutely. The USD value or the Kenyan shillings value has depreciated. If you give it enough time, it will surpass that same value. Yeah. And you keep it moving. Wow. I think that's a good place to almost lock it now, because we are the tail end of this all. I would like you to give us a parting shot and more geared towards what is the future that you see from where you are now, because you have invested a lot in this. You have a team that is doing amazing work. You have a lot of people now under Patricia, and you're expanding. From where you see it, I know you said about not thinking about the present, but what do you see in the future, especially in the blockchain technologies? Well, I see new applications of cryptocurrency. I think that's what excites me the most. Applications around real estate, around elections, around document authentication. Right? So I feel everything that we have today, the blockchain can in some way improve it. In some way. In some way. In some way. Yeah. And I mean every single thing we have today. Right? This blockchain can in some way impact and in some way improve it. So we need the innovators to come and hold this mantle and do the most around it. But there's particularly I'm interested in real estate. Yeah. Around the blockchain, because I feel that has the most African use case. Is relatable. Everybody in this room understands real estate. You buy a house, you sell it 5 years later, it's more expensive. But what if I want to buy a house of 1 million Kenyan shillings and I can't afford a million shillings, right? But I know 10 people and we can come together and contribute 100,000 each and we buy this house. But we don't really buy the physical house. We buy the tokenized version of this house on the blockchain. And and every time rent is paid on this house, I earn 10% because I own 10%
Yeah.
of that house. And at any point in time, I can go on the blockchain and sell my 10% instantly.
Wow.
Without having to talk to anybody or chat to anybody. That is my vision for real estate.
Beautiful, and thank you so much. And I could ask you many other questions, but we have to end it at that point. And hopefully next year we shall see how this future is unfolding, because I definitely, what you talked about last year, we can see a lot of things happening. There you have it right here on the Tradie Bell Show, speaking to Hano, the CEO and founder, Patricia. I love the name of the company. And we look forward to really getting amazing technologies that and seeing the future as he's talked about. They're unfolding things that are about to come in. And from what he says, don't let the bus just leave you. At 16 million already taken in, and there's only 21. I think in the next few months, this might be closed up. So you better jump into the bus as soon as you can. Wishing him well in all his endeavors right here on the Tradie Bell Show.